Maybe you want to get in the lower price of the electricity, but the person you escrow your machines, his aiming is your deposit and your miners.
How well do you think you know about American hosting industry? Do you think you're so smart to fall for any scams? How do you know if a mining farm is trustworthy for hosting? Today we're going to talk about a scam that happened in Oklahoma City, the United States, that involves tens of millions of dollars, and the victims include famous Chinese and American companies, also some very experienced and smart businessmen. 3 of the victims are willing to share this experience with us, so let's get started. Hello, Mr. Thor. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm very good, and it's my honor to taking your interview. And I think we need very formal presentations like today we are doing to lead this entire cases about what does the liar is doing in industrial. This activity is absolutely a damage to this industrial, and his activity is just also taking a very bad example for the Chinese person in the United States, especially after the prohibiting regulation about China for the crypto mining industry. So I need to tell everyone and to clarify everything about it, and just told you how many victims and how much money and machine has lost.
We're lucky that you can share your experience with us and with everybody, because I guess this experience can help a lot of people to, avoid such kind of fraud or scams. Would you estimate the loss that Sun caused to you or to other companies or individuals involved?
According my contract with Jushun, we set a branch company in the United States for establishing some crypto mining warehouse, and my investment is at least 1.5 million US dollars. It's just for me, and for the another firm such as their saving deposit 800,000 US dollars has been abandoned, unable to return for them. And Johnson institution also refused to return due to many reasons. And therefore their chief is he has lost 117,000 US dollars for the deposit, and also approaching 600 units about the newest version of Bitcoin miner. And for another party, because due to our confidential agreement, I cannot tell you the exactly name, but it is a very famous mining industry company, and they have sending 2,000 newest version Bitcoin miners from Bitmain, such like S19J Pro 100T, and 1,000 is 300 has been funded. The rest of the 800 is missing, and Jushun refused to tell them where the machine is, and they were still disappeared. And their saving deposits for 300,000 US dollars is also missing, and Jushun is refused to return. And there's also another supplier in mainland China, such as someone I know. He's from Hebei province. He has been like some individual participating in the crypto mining, and he has own warehouse in China. But after the prohibiting in 2021, he also wants to contribute another space in outside of China. He was cheated by Johnson, and 20 containers, at least 200,000 US dollars. He also purchased some of the electronic cables. His losses is the 300,000 US dollars. And this is all of the victims I know.
After the whole thing happened, do you think the whole thing has changed your life overall?
We are good friends about it. But in fact, he cheated a lot of money from me. It's also including some of my saving, it's also some of my loan from my friends or families. It's just like catastrophic for me. And it's also getting a great influences on my life. But fortunately, our formal business, the developing in blockchain industry, has getting some focus by the new investor and again and the business partner. My next round pre-A funds and A round funds is ready. So this entire thing does not destroy me.
He did a lot of things to deceive, to lie to all of the victims, including you, including the companies that you talked about. In what ways did he gain the trust and kept lying but never was suspected, never was caught for a long time?
There is a trap we called by Chinese as it means a drama to kill a pig. I think I just like the pig. I was be rising when I get some news, and he is establishing the trap for me. And during that time, it is 2021. The price of Ethereum and Bitcoin is still much higher than right now, and the Chinese government has banned the mining industry in China 2 years ago. At the 2021, the middle of the May, Jusun advised me to build the warehouse in US because he has experiences. He has experiences to build a data center in US. Because the IDC is also some coordinates with the miner warehouse because it needs some air condition, needs some electricity, needs the internet. It needs some design for keep the temperature in a very stable condition. I think the experiences in IDC construction is also can be useful for the crypto mining. He also working for the crypto mining industry from that day and investigating, working hard to do some research every day. Maybe it's just like performances. But his performances takes very, very seriously and earned lots of my trust. I was be putting into his trap by this way regularly, and I trusted him by this day, time by time, by all of the produce he did. And after he moving to United States, he used our fame, our investments, because we are invested by. That's the reason he get the trust from the suppliers, construction supplier, and the landlord, and the electronic company, and to sign some of the contract, and without any deposits or any prepaid. He has started to find the customers in US and China. He used the same way to get the trust, such like is trusted him as he is the CEO of the branch company of. He said it's from. So they have signed agreements, and the has given him a lot of saving deposit, but he cannot to working on to making the warehouse to powered on. During that time, he is trying to get more cash flow or more money and stop to working hard to construction. He's trying to tell the line to the chairman of. That means Mr. Introducing to you because Mr. is living in the United States. He has read the report in the famous media. It's called the Late Post. The Late Post has reported about as industrial to working overseas as an invested company by to building a warehouse warehouse for crypto mining in US and reported about Josh and giving him the money, giving him the containers and the Bitcoin miners. During Mr. observed that the pens cannot be powered on. It's just the middle of the 2020, maybe the May and June. I also questioned to Joshun why you cannot power it on, and he always can find some very standable excuse to me, such like the electronic company has breaks the contract, the suppliers needs more produce to validate our constructions, and there's also a little bit of work is still under the way. And I also say some picture about our warehouse. And there is also some constructions under the way. That's the way he play it again and again and again. And the time is be passing, and our priority, our efficiency is losing until the construction suppliers. I remember the name is. is the most famous electronic construction supplier in Oklahoma City. Their bill has been reaching already $1 million US. So the CEO is refused to finish this project because they have observed some of the components which imported from China does not, according to the U.S. electronic standardization, it's unable to passing the inspection, federal inspection by the city inspector. So they stop the construction and they need George to pay for the bill. At the time is August of 2022, and also the lawsuit with and George is on the way. I also get the news from someone else saying that some customers is trying to get a lawsuit with Josh. During that time, I tried to fly into US and to make an investigation. He's smart as he brings to me to the warehouse, and the warehouse have its original capacity for the power supply, just a little bit of capacity. There is 100 of miners still on running, and he told to me there is only just need 3 or 4 weeks, and the project will be completed. He also used his method to trust it to me like a family, and to talk with you emotionally. And teaches to me many stories, such like not everything will be go smoothly like we predicted. And I also paid a lot of money for this project. So I trusted him one more time. I fly into Singapore for participating in the summit. But when I back to China in the quarantine period, I asked him about the power on status, and he told me the construction team needs are to pay all of the bills. If you do not to pay, it is all your responsibility. And I find accurate during that time. And I also trying to make the investigation. So I get contacted with and getting the most news I do not want to get to know. But I am a person is caring the connection of the peoples I know very much. I also consider the situation because last year due to the crash of the Luna, this was a catastrophic strike to the entire industry. Maybe the significantly dropping to Bitcoin is also some significantly affected the industrials. So maybe it's not. It's not good to put every reason into Josh. I also have 50% to trust. So I told him, if you can give me the company back and allow me to check to do a finance audit and allow me get the controllership of the bank account, I can pay for the rest of the bill. And he agreed on my condition, and I sent my secretary to US. And my secretary has arriving to Oklahoma City for 1 month, but the audit procedures does not be finished during our plan. George refused to share the transactions or the finance detail or the bank accounts to my secretary, and he used variety of the excuse to prolong this entire produce and ask for the money time by time. His most smartest point he did is he can use the different information barrier from different person and use the fame to make some person to believing on him. So he can get some project, any construction on their peers.
But without paying, just I told you.
The construction team has to do a very good job for the warehouse too, because they believe in the company which invested by, and the landlord is also trusted him due to he was invested by. His former employee is also brainwashed by him. He was fabricating a very good story and a very good dreaming, and he just tell me you just need to continue to waiting for the cash flow is building. As a CEO, the most important things you to do is to getting more communicate with the outside world, with the investor, with the customer, with the media. I am the best chief operation officer. I can handle everything. You just need to wait. Waiting for the cash flow, waiting for the fame, waiting for more money. Just talk to the investor. We will give him highly return. Because, everyone also have some points to lazy to work. Maybe I trust him so much for decades. You can continue your formal business, and you can set the branch company in Japan or Hong Kong or anywhere you want to. And our and every of our business, we're getting very good pathway because we have the cash flow, we have money to test, we have money to evaluate our business model. You does not need to find another fund. You just need to waiting for our warehouse is completed. And we will superior Bitmain or Bitdeer or Campus Mining or another crypto mining industrial company. We will be the number one. It's just like very gifted daydreaming to me. I was lured. It's just like a trend that's been fabricated by chain, link by link together. He used much of the evidence to make the trust from the guests, from the customers, from the supplier. So it's really for us to distinction what his performance is. And the most important key account is I cannot to get it connected with another customers or victims. I was trying to getting the context. I also asked the context from him, but he always say, I'm busy to work. I'm very busy to build a warehouse. Give me one more time. So I think the most important mistake is me. I should be doing investigate from the beginning. I should take the controllership about the bank account. That's my biggest weakened point is I trusted him so much. Eventually, it's break some rules for the business to cooperate. So that is also a very important license in my life.
I'm kind of surprised that he could somehow stopped all the victims from get connected.
Because they have also do some investigate about George Sun's working experiences. They know he's working on IBC industrial and telecom consulting firm. There is officially report on in the internet. And then we can see some of the evidence for the things it exists. The warehouse is exists. The working is on the way. The construction is on the way. And the metro and the component is outstanding. And the air condition and the airflow design is also good. But it's designed by a third party. It's designed by some of the victims in mainland China. Help him complimentary. He can put every resources in a very smart position to tell the story with different version to different person and to earn their trust and trying to upstake the customers or his employee or to get connected. So that's why I cannot get the contacts of the landlords from the suppliers.
I see. I just can only hope for the whole process to speed up. I really want to see what could happen to Sun because people want him to get punished and to get their assets back.
I have investigated the entire things. I have found something is abnormal, and I have regained this controllership of the company in Oklahoma City. I was flying to United States secretly and to meet the landlord of the warehouse. And we set an agreement together, not breaking. We entering the warehouse at the Christmas. And there were thousands of miners inside of it. So me and the landlord, we control the assets together, and I have moving them to Texas, to some warehouse of my friends. If we do not to control the company, control the machine, maybe Jishun will moving them, all of it, and trying to sold all of it. Because hundreds of the customers' miner has been sold by Jishun, and we have observed it's just like a trap. Because he signed the escrow agreement with a famous firm with a very lower electronic price. And the price is lower than the cost he get from the electronic company. It's just like a trap. The aiming from him is to getting the saving deposit and to resell the machine. But after a couple of days passing and the real owner is coming for searching for these miners. After I have checking their invoice with serial numbers, I confirmed they are also the victims. So we're getting some coordinate and getting some settlement agreement, and I return this machine to the real owner.
I have to say that your way of dealing the whole thing has already minimized the loss and the harm, considering all those, progress, all the problems he brought. So it's already, the best result you can get. what's his condition is like right now? Because I think a lot of people, as you said, are chasing him, are suing him in China and also in the States. So do you know what's his conditions are?
I guess he is still in the United States, might be still in Oklahoma City. It's like a commercial debate, and all the victims has finding a legal attorney and a lawyer. We are working hard for putting this situation into criminal activities. But the law firm in the United States is also complicated. It needs a federal investigator to put this entire things and rearrangement about it, and then to make sure it is just a commercial debate or just or criminal activities. So we're still working hard for it. So that's why George Sun is still able to living freely in the United States. I know he can't get back to China because many persons searching for him, and his visa is also expired. He just used a B1 or B2 visa to enter the US. He's working to apply for L1 visa, which is guaranteed by my company in China. Is also unable to be approved due to we have sending a formal letter to the USCIS to request to canceling his visa. So he cannot to live in US right now. If he is choice to leave, he may be unable to get another chance to re-enter the US one more time. So I have the 100% sure he is also in USA but disappeared and did not answer to anyone.
Okay, but can they deport him back to China? No? Can they deport him?
Maybe cannot right now due to this entire thing. This not yet still in complicated stages. I also know George Sun for decades. The most important point and is he is very professionally to observe what are you need by your mind. He know I was born in a divorced family. I never have any emotional connection with my parents. I was raised by my grandparents. I need to be taken care. I need to be put in the position of the center. I need to get more compliments, more positive feedback. That's the most important emotional value I need. So he is trying to continuously to giving me the emotional values, just like family members doing to me. He was working for a very famous consulting firm, and he also working for a very famous Nasdaq listed company for the telecom industry, and he is very professional for the basement construction for some telecom industrial in USA, and for some overseas trading is also he's good working at. That's the most important reason I trusted him. Honestly speaking, he also giving me a lot of contribution for my grown up as a professional workers, as to get the investment, as to make a good coordinate with my workmates, such as supplier and another field. Before that things, I was so much appreciate for the things he has guided to me or teach to me.
He's been really, really sneaky and smart. Yeah, it's very hard for people to tell, especially for you, because you have known him for such a long time. You wouldn't imagine someone you know for so long would ever scam you, and you treat him like a friend, like a teacher, you know.
Yeah, like a family. There is suffering.
Exactly. Has it changed, like, your attitude towards the whole industry?
You have asked me about my attitude to this industry. My attitude does not change. Actually, I know Bitcoin for a decade, and I also get my first Bitcoin from 2011. I was trust this industry, and I also there is some miracle will be born in the decentralized finance system. And I also want to making some innovation by developing something new by blockchain technology or decentralized technology or finance system. This is also the important reason I can get the investment. I chose to investments on the crypto mining warehouse construction for the very complicated reason.
For the whole thing, did you have some kind of like suggestions to the whole industry? Do you want to share some of your ideas about how to invest, how to be more careful?
Because the crypto mining industry is a very special industry, and you need to put in entire of your very heavy assets into some person's plans. It's under a third person's control. Big Deal is a good example to this world. They just run the warehouse for itself and the construction the warehouse for itself. They never find an agent or find a representative to make the construction for him. If someone wants to continue this industry, I think to making some detailed investigation for the local status, for the power supply, for the environment preservation policy, for the construction standardization, and the input or output standardization for the customers. Find a professional person to build for you yourself. Don't put your assets to someone else. Even if it's your good friend, but the friendship is also we're getting highly risk for such big amounts of assets. We always say it's very hard to examination the humanity by a very big much of the money. And I also hope everyone wants to put more investment on the crypto mining industry, taking very, very much careful about the person your choice to coordinate. If you can do it yourself, do it yourself. Do not trust anyone else simply. Because I was lined by a person for a decade. Also very important to me in this decade. It's also just like a symbol of my family. You can imagine how suffering I was passing through for the rest of this month. I'm smiling right now to talk to you. It's just a very hard task for me. I'm very lucky to escape. So that's why I want to share these experiences and to tell everyone to avoid such person to play his tricks one more time. Because the criminal investigation needs a very big long time. We don't know the federal investigation department could not put these things into criminal activities. We want to put everything into a good pace and make the criminals into justice, but we still do not want any more victims to be hunted by him. So that is the most important advice I want to tell today. Thank you.
All right. I think you're an optimistic man. There is a saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So I know that the situation for you after this is tough, but you're a tough man, and you will keep going, and everything will be solved, and it will turn out great.
Yes, I'm also optimistic and positive to this industry. I also think decentralized finance and blockchain technology will changing our finance system. Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you. We're really happy to have you here, and thank you for having this interview with us.